WBXO Classic Rock redefined it on a Pat Show today. Honored to have one of the best keyboardists, and I mean best, in the business, and a local guy no less, who's playing tonight at Daryl's house. And if you don't get your tickets, you need to do so really quick. Honored to have Bruce Katz on the phone. Hey Bruce, how's it going so far?
Hey Pat, thanks so much for having me on, man.
Man, it's long overdue, and glad that we finally able to hook up. Before I get into your killer album, Get Your Groove, I gotta ask, what was your fascination with the keyboard and piano? You know, growing up, what was the focus that got your attention? Was it family musically involved, or how did that work?
Well, you know, I guess it was something that I was just always attracted to. I mean, we had a piano in my house, and my older sister was taking lessons, and I was I was like 5 years old, and I was walking over to the piano and figuring out her songs that she was taking lessons on. And so my parents kind of looked at each other and said, I guess we should give him lessons. But yeah, I was always kind of fascinated, and I mean, I really, I was playing Mozart sonatas when I was 7 years old.
Wow.
Just one of those things. I've been breathing and playing piano for as long as I can remember. And, then in my 20s, I always liked the sound of the Hammond organ. I would hear occasional gospel stuff on TV or something, but I got the opportunity to start recording on a Hammond, and I just fell in love with that instrument. And so I've been sort of pursuing both of those instruments for a long time. They're so different, they both have keyboards, but they're like totally different instruments, and they're great in their own way.
But John Hammond quotes saying, "This man is as good as it gets, one of the greatest keyboard artists I've ever heard." So I don't know if you can get any better than that, but I gotta say, how did you... Go ahead. Go ahead.
No, I was going to say that that John, I've worked with John, and for John to say that, it just kills me, because, he worked with all of the great blues players. There's no one he didn't work with. And so, yeah, that's a good one. I love John. I think he's the most soulful blues musician in the world. And so, yeah, I'm pretty proud of that he said that about me. But anyway, I interrupted you. What were you saying?
No, which leads me to go, how did you get the gig on the great, legendary Gregg Allman Band, speaking of Hammond organs? Wow.
Yeah, well, that's a funny story, man. I moved to the Woodstock area about 13 years ago from the Boston area, where I spent most of my life. And I started playing some of the Levon Helm shows. I got invited to play some of them. And I met Jay Collins, who is a saxophone player, who was playing with Gregg. And Gregg was starting to look around for a new keyboard player, and Jay recommended me, and the Allman Brothers happened to be at their annual Beacon Theater run, where they would play like 15 nights at the Beacon Theater in March. And so Gregg just said to Jay, well, have this guy come down to the Beacon. He can sit in with the brothers and
wow.
See what he sounds like. And so it was really freaky, man. I didn't know anybody. I drove down to the Beacon Theater by myself. They told me, come in the backstage entrance. I went in the stage back entrance. I'm standing around. I meet Gregg Allman, who's like an idol of mine and has been for decades, And I'm just standing there, and then all of a sudden they say, okay, get out there. You're going to sit on the bench right next to Gregg, because Gregg would have, like the organ bench set up so that he could play either piano facing the audience. The organ facing the audience or piano facing the band. So I'm sitting on the bench, and I'm like shoulder to shoulder with him, like perpendicular. I'm trying not to like elbow him while I'm playing piano. I'm playing in front of like my audition is playing live with the Allman Brothers in front of 4,000.
At the Beacon Theater, no less.
But it all worked out pretty well, I guess, because then I played with Gregg for 7 years after that, and had some great adventures and fun, amazing gigs with both him and I did some Allman Brothers tours, and then I played in J-Mo's band. I played in Butch's band, and just kind of, done a lot of stuff in the Allman Brother family of musicians.
Man, timing is everything. Look at that. Move over here to the Hudson Valley in Woodstock, and bang, next minute you're playing at the Beacon Theater with Gregg Allman. Doesn't get any better than that. All right, so your 10th album, Get Your Groove. I love it. I love it. I love that New Orleans sound. I love the title track, Get Your Groove. I love Beef Jerky. There's something about, every time I go to New Orleans, I just love going, hitting the clubs down there. There's something that really excites me about that whole scene. You do Freight Train, obviously in a tribute to Butch. Can you just share a little bit about that?
Yeah, well, I really loved and admired Butch Trucks, and always. And I was in his band, two of his bands. One was called Les Brer, that had basically 5 members of the Allman Brothers, minus Gregg, and Butch Trucks and the Freight Train Band. And it was such a tragic loss last year when we lost him, and it just, I just felt like I needed to write a tune for him. And, I was thinking, I didn't want to write a tune for him. I wanted to write a tune that's a tune that he would have really liked to have played. That was in my head. This is something I could have brought to Butch, and he would have gone, yeah, let's do that tune.
Nice.
So I wrote this tune, which I thought was all about what Butch loved about music, and then I thought, man, let's get J-Mo, who was Butch's co-drummer, of course, in the Allman Brothers. Let's get J-Mo down here, and he can do double drums with Ray Hangen, my usual drummer. So I was lucky enough to be able to get J-Mo and my schedule lined up, and he came down from Connecticut, and man, it sounds great, I think. It's just under 10 minutes long, which is something that Butch would have loved, because he loved to jam, I'd be playing with the Allman Brothers, and I'd take a solo that I thought was the proper length, and I'd finish, and Butch would look at me and go, "What'd you stop for? Keep playing, man."
That's cool.
But the New Orleans music is, the first kind of music besides classical music that I fell in love with was Dixieland, New Orleans jazz when I was about 10. And I've always been really attracted to all the rhythm and blues and the 40s and 50s and the parade bands and the rhythm and blues bands and the jazz, So, yeah, there's a couple of New Orleans things on there. Get Your Groove is the most New Orleans-y, and I can sit around and play that kind of stuff. I could make whole albums of that music, and maybe I will one of these days.
There you go. Well, I'm certainly going to play Get Your Groove on my show this Sunday to start sharing your great tracks. Now, you're a busy guy looking at your website and stuff, besides touring, and we're talking to the great Bruce Katz, by the way, playing tonight at Daryl's house, 845-289-0185. Go to Daryl's House Club website, get the tickets, get a table. You are not going to be, you're going to walk out of there blown away. I was there last night, actually, with a couple of blues guys, and it was just, it was a great show, and I'm sure you're going to have a great show tonight. And if you can't go tonight, or you want to go tonight, you could actually see Bruce also in Newburgh at the Ritz Theater, and I see Corey Glover of Living Color is the MC, so that'll be fun. But getting to, go ahead.
That gig is a benefit for Safe Harbors, which is a great organization, and so it's not only you get to see me and meet Corey Glover and hear my great band, who I should mention is Chris Fitarello on guitar and vocals and Ray Hangen on drums. I'm playing organ and piano. I play bass on the organ. And, people sometimes think, oh, it's a keyboard player band, so it'll be all keyboards, but it's just as much guitar. It's an equal partnership with Chris and I. He's one of the greatest guitar players in the world, I think. And I think a lot of other people do too. So just for you guys out there, it's all about organ and guitar, and Anyway, I interrupted you
No,
again.
no, it's great blues. It's got a soul. It's got a little jazz. It's got a little jam. And Chris does an outstanding job. It's a really good balance. I've listened to the album a few times preparing for our chat today, and I said, really, really good stuff. The people are not going to walk out of Daryl's certainly not dissatisfied. It's going to rock tonight. But I was saying, you're a busy guy. You got your second instructional DVD coming out, Play Like Ray. You do private lessons. I mean, you're nonstop.
Yeah, well, I'm trying to,
keep it going, right?
Yeah, but I am teaching both out of my studio, and about 6 months ago I started teaching, I could call them Skype lessons, even though I don't use Skype, I use a different program, but video long-distance lessons with people, and it works out really, really well. I have like a couple of cameras. I have one camera that's right over my hands looking at the keyboard, and one camera that's at my face, and I can switch back and forth, and that's really fun. I taught at the Berklee College of Music in Boston for 14 years. And when I first moved to the Hudson Valley, I commuted to Boston for 5 years and kept teaching there, but I just couldn't maintain my touring schedule and a teaching job in Boston. But yeah, I'm doing the long distance lessons, and I do have a new DVD coming out, which is a 4-hour double DVD that examines the piano style of Ray Charles, who's my favorite musician in the world. And I did one a couple of years ago called Breakthrough Blues Piano, which is a instructional blues piano DVD. So, yeah, I love teaching, and I'm trying to keep that a part of my life as well as the performing. So, what's
the best way of reaching out if they wanted to do a lesson or sign up? Do they go right to your website, the BruceKatzBand.com?
Yeah, I think on the website there's a link.
Yes, there's a contact. There it goes. Okay.
There's a contact, yeah, or there's an email of I think it's BruceKatzLessons@gmail.com, and they can find me various ways. Facebook, they can send me a message.
Excellent.
Yeah, but yeah, that's fun, and I'm doing a bunch of those now, and I have been pleasantly surprised to discover that it's almost like they're in the room with me. I mean, it's modern technology is amazing. I have a student in France. I have students in California now.
Nice.
It's crazy,
It's all good. Well, the album is Get Your Groove, and I'm going to be playing the title track on Sunday. Bruce playing tonight at Daryl's, and if you want to be taught by the best, this is the guy. Can't wait to get a chance to come to one of your shows and get you in our studio once things settle down with you, my friend.
Yeah, that'd be great. And of course, Daryl's, if any of you guys that are listening haven't been there, it's just a magnificent club with about the best sound I can think of anywhere, and it's beautiful. Pete does a wonderful place to hear music.
Pete does a great job there. I was there last night, and people will not be disappointed. All right, my man. So let me wrap this up. Bruce Katz, Daryl's House tonight, 845-289-0185. Go to darylshouseclub.com and check out Bruce on his website, BruceKatzBand.com, or his Facebook page. And you get a chance, you want to see this guy play and listen to his great music. Bruce, thanks for your time, and I look forward to hooking up with you soon.
Yes, let's hook up Sunday sometime in September or October. I'll figure out what might make sense. That would be great. I'd love to come on and spin some stuff and tell some stories, so that would be cool. And thanks for having me on, and thank goodness there are independent radio stations like you guys out there.
Yeah,
for putting the music out there, man.
Somebody's got to do it. Keeping new music alive on WBXO on the Pat Show. We love what we do. All right, my man, safe travels, and we'll talk soon.
Okay, thanks so much.
Thanks, Bruce.
Okay, bye.
Bye.